What is up, YouTube? So it is Monday, the 27th of April. And we're now closing in on the single digits. We are 9 weeks and 5 days out. And today, I'm going to take you through a day in the life / a leg day. Just share my thoughts, my feelings, the highs, the lows, and just talk you through what is going on in prep. So, yeah, these last 4 days, so since Thursday, we have dropped the metaphorical hammer, as people like to call it, and we are pushing. So calories have been dropped to just over 2,000, and I'm feeling it. So calories have been dropped. Cardio is at 35 times 7. But condition is coming. Now, the hard thing with this is I'm shooting for and striving for a condition that I've never been in before. Which means that I'm going to have to do things that I've never had to do before. Because new condition means new things that you have to do. Means new challenges. But I'm here for it. Because my one thing that I said to Jace was, I don't care how I do, but I have to be absolutely fucking peeled, was my exact words. Because I know I'm not going to be the biggest. So if you don't have the size, but you do have shape, structure, you have to play to your strengths. So me trying to come in big and out of shape doesn't make any sense. I'm going to have probably about 12 kilos that I can add to my cap. So, as you can imagine, 12 kilos is a lot of fucking muscle. So there's going to be boys that are way, way bigger than me. So it'd be silly for me to try and play that game and try and compete with them there. But what I do have is a structure that can potentially give me an advantage, in the sense that it can give me the illusion of looking way bigger than I actually am. Have a tiny waist, have big sweepy quads, and I have a small upper body, but but we will get there with that. So today is leg day. I've actually got a late start today. Normally I start PTing at 5. I actually don't start PT until 6, and I've got a really quiet day, which is why you're out today, in terms of PT. So I'm going to make my meal 1. I need to try and, I'm in a little bit of a split decision here. So I normally check in at the gym for Jace every single time I do check in. However, because I'm not going at 5, by the time the gym opens at 6, there's going to be people in the gym. So I don't know whether do I pose there, send it over to him, or do I pose at home, send it over to him. I'm going to probably just pose at the gym because it keeps it consistent for him. And I know when you are trying to coach, consistent lighting, consistent setup is important. So I'm going to have to try and get to the gym early, try and get in the gym early, and then I'm going to have to send over my check-in, eat my meal before I start training my client at 6, because I am going to train early today, just because it makes no sense to go and then just waste time. I'm trying to be as efficient as I possibly can whilst in prep. So it'll be client, train, cardio, home on the laptop for the rest of the day. Or train and cardio, home on the laptop for the rest of the day. What I might actually do is, if I can get to the gym early, I will probably just do some steps outside. And if it gets light outside, I might even do the check-in outside. Yeah, we'll see. We will see. I probably won't record the check-in, but I will overlay the check-in of me that I record on my phone. Just simply use the phone because it's just long trying to set up two tripods and da. It's just easy for me to just record on my phone and overlay some photos or overlay the video on here for you guys to kind of see the condition that we are in. But we're digging. I think we've got about another 4 to 5, maybe 6 kilos to come off over the next 10 weeks. So we're looking at about half a kilo a week. In my mind, I'd rather just push hard now and be ready or close to ready about 3 weeks out. So we've got 7 weeks as well to the Marbella shoot. So it is what I would call crunch time now. I'm going to make my pre-gym meal. I'm actually going to use this. I'm going to make my first meal, which is whey, berries, dark chocolate, and then I have 5 rice cakes with that as well. But I love the caramel Snacker Jack. So what I actually do is I do 3 rice cakes, and I do 1 Snacker Jack, which is equivalent to 2 rice cakes in terms of carbs and calories. So a little bit less volume. I'm also very anal. This has to say 40. Yeah, I'm also very anal. So yeah, that. And the good thing about having the rice cakes in that meal is it actually means that I can put a fair bit of salt on it and it actually tastes good because you've got the rice cakes crunch. Whereas when you don't have the texture of the crunch on the rice cakes, the loads of salt on, I don't have my favourite spoon. Where is it? Oh, fucking clean. That's annoying. Yeah, because of the rice cakes, it allows that crunch texture and it also just allows for it to taste a bit better. So what we do here, I then put this in the freezer until I actually eat it because it just allows for a little bit more texture, shall we say. Got 20 grams of this. And then my post-workout I'm actually going to eat at home because I want to try and push / separate those meals out a little bit. I do think that my check-in today, and depending on what my weight is, I do think it's going to go one of 2 ways. Either we're going to push a little bit harder for the next few days, which means I'm probably going to say to Jace to just let's pull carbs out of another meal for these next 4 days that we are pushing, because I do want to really see a nice shift forward in condition. We've basically got a week of pushing here, so I think if we can push a little harder, then we can be even more ahead, and then we can kind of cruise into it a little bit easier and not have to push as hard. So I will just confirm with him that that's okay for me to do, depending on what my weight does. Say if my weight has come down even more today, then I probably will just say, okay, let's just keep doing what we're doing. But if it's holding around the 74s, then I will say let's just try and push into the 73s by end of this week. As we do have a high carb day coming probably over the weekend. I think Jason wants me to hit it on the Thursday or a Friday, but because I PT on a Friday, it just doesn't make it super easy to get that amount of food in. Saturday I don't have any clients, so it makes it super easy to just sit and eat and train and probably do no cardio. So that in my head makes more sense to do. So that is there. That is the first meal. I'll obviously put the rice cakes in once we are. I should put that there. Adequate salt. I actually put 2 grams of this, 1 gram of this. More potassium, more blood and nutrients in the cell. Better pumps. So that is that. That just gets a little mix in then. And then the rice cakes just get crumbled on top. Bangs. So if you do want a low calorie first meal, whey protein made into a sludge, berries, 10 grams of dark chocolate, and then rice cakes. It's pretty much like having cereal, but not having the calories for cereal. And it's just about making smart choices at this point, you know, making smart choices that are going to keep me satiated, but are also going to ensure that we get the job done that is at hand. And that's what this process is about. You do what's needed. You do what's necessary. Is it always easy? Nope. But do you do what you have to do to move the needle? Yes, we do. So take my peps. So at the moment, this has just gone in. I'm actually just trialing this out to see if it does do anything. It's called GC1. It's called a Sobratome. It's meant to increase T3 activation in the cell. Obviously, more T3 in the cell, higher metabolism, more fat burning in theory. So we got that. We got 14 micrograms of Clen going in, and then we've also got, you're not going to know what that is, but we've got 2 milligrams of MOTS going in as well. And then the rest of the other peptides I'm doing 500 micrograms of BPC a day, 2 milligrams of GHK per day when I can be bothered. And then I'm doing 250 micrograms of Reta daily as well, which, to be honest, is making this prep extremely easy because it means that I don't get hungry. I do get hungry, but it means I don't get as hungry as I would previously. And I don't know if anyone else uses these little, I think they're like 31 gauge needles, but for some reason, they always just get, like, they just get air in them. And you can't actually put anything in them. It's really fucking frustrating. Fuck's sake. Don't have time for your shit today, mate. No, okay, you don't want to work, so. And again, if you do use peptides, you can use the same needle more than once. You won't die. You won't get an infection. So I've got 2 milligrams here. And with the MOTS-c, actually, I'm actually going to swap and trial this out. This isn't fucking working either, is it? Brilliant. Fucking needles are useless. I'm actually going to trial this out going intramuscular, because when I do go subcutaneous, it does leave a little bit of a wilt / bump, which obviously, when you're trying to make your physique look as pretty as possible, you don't really want. So I'm actually going to pin this in my chest, which you guys don't need to see. And in theory, total bro science here, but if you use MOTS-c intramuscular, because it should absorb quicker, it should actually have more effect on the mitochondria. That is complete bro science, and that is actually me joking. It will have no effect. Whenever you inject something, it doesn't just get, it still has to go through the process of being passed and all that bullshit. So just because you inject something into a muscle doesn't mean that it gets there that much quicker if you inject it subcutaneous. I just prefer doing it because it doesn't hurt. So yeah, let's go. Today's going to be a good day. I'm going to make sure that this camera comes with me everywhere I go. Peace. Annoying. 1. Scale weight didn't come down. Body weight has held. We're 0.2 off of an all-time low, which is really annoying because I was dragging my ass yesterday. So I actually woke up and I was like, oh, do you know what? I had a little bit of an extra line, had an extra half an hour in bed. I'm pretty confident that I'll see a new low on the scales. But it's just the way it rolls sometimes. It's just the way it goes. Regardless, things to get ticked off. There is shit to do today. There is a standard to hold ourselves to. So we're now off to the gym, take my photos, PT climb, eat my first meal, then train straight away. So I'm going to get to the gym a bit early because I do think if I get there early, should be able to get in a little bit early to be able to take my video and then eat before my client does come. So that is the plan of action. But anyway, today's session. So we've got legs. We have got legs. And how I do my training at the moment, Jace gives me the split in terms of what he wants me to train and I pretty much just auto-regulate based on how I feel. Now, this is not me saying that you should do this. This is me saying that after 10 years of training, I know what I need in a session, and I know what I've got to give in a session that's going to allow for standards to stay high, and it's also going to allow for progression to be managed and fatigue and recovery, not even fatigue, recovery to be managed. Because I don't really believe in all this fatigue management bullshit. It should be fucking hard. You should be tired. So, yeah, I mean, obviously there does come a point in time where you have to manage fatigue a little bit, but that comes through managing recovery, not necessarily managing fatigue as such. Fatigue is accumulated through dieting anyway, and then it's also accumulated through lack of recovery in terms of sleep, in terms of stress management, in terms of just blowing your load too much in the gym and doing too much. So the session is probably going to look something like this: 2 leg extension, 2 adductor, 1 leg press, 1 pendulum squat, 3 hamstring curl, and then that will be it. Jace is actually going to look over my split, and in my head I might even just propose some changes to him, as I do think I have hamstrings on a Friday, but I do actually think that putting his hamstrings, chest and shoulders, which is a little bit of a weird session, I often don't do the hamstrings, I'll be honest. So I think what I'm probably going to suggest is a little bit, 2 sets of hamstrings in today's session, and then I hit back again on Wednesday, and I hit back again on Saturday. And I'm thinking to add 3 sets of hamstring into back on Wednesday, and then 2 sets of hamstrings on back on Saturday. Or alternatively, I might swap chest and shoulders and arms, chest and shoulders and back and arms, and do back on the Friday, and then do hamstrings then, and then do chest, shoulders on the Saturday. And that then gives me a little bit of a easier time, and then I'd probably even, I'm just gonna have a look. Right, in for legs. In for legs. As I said, the session is gonna be, as I predicted, 2 here, 2 adductor, 1 leg press, 1 pendulum squat, potentially just 2 leg press, no pendulum. See how the knees feel. And then 2 hamstring curl. Again, I'm gonna still chat to Jace later on today and just see any adjustments that he wants to make programming wise. And then I posed this morning, the look is getting there. So now it's just a case of just needing to just keep digging this week. 35 cardio after this, and then home to work. You can walk in front of it. You can walk in front. It's a gym. It's not a film studio. It's not a film studio. Well, first set apparently didn't record, so you're going to get a second working set. But anyway, I'm going to just talk over my check-in, which you'll see. So, I'm pretty happy with how conditions pulled through this last 4 or 5 days since we have been dieting. From the front, I would say there's probably 2 to 3 more kilos to come off for it to be kind of like stage acceptable. From the back, we're probably looking at more like 4 to 5. Glutes are still holding a fair bit of body fat. They're not striated yet, although I am a little flat. So, you know, can see that pop to my chest, pop to my arms. It's not as full as it will be come back end of this week once you've had a couple of days of food going, or a day of food going. And I do think that as food does go in, hopefully cardio comes down a little bit for a day. Probably will see condition pull through a little bit more just by dropping inflammation, and then having more glycogen present in the muscle as well. So
pretty happy with how the side leg is finally coming along in that side chest. So it is more now just a case, just dig for more condition. That's really what this is about. It's just dig, 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 dig. You don't need to be full at this point, Carl. You do need to be flat. And you have to accept that you're going to feel flat. Your sessions aren't going to be that great. But that's what it takes to get into true condition. Hamstrings starting to get dug out, which is good. And pretty happy. I am pretty happy with how shape is coming along now. You can start to see the remnants of the work that we've been putting in. So, yeah, we'll see what Jay says. And then it's a case of just digging on and pushing on. But now, just like this, it's 12 to 15 here. You'll see here as well when I'm actually doing the sets, when I'm doing the reps, I'm not just kicking, contracting. Little pause at the bottom, hard contractions as I get to the top. Trying to train my quads, not train a leg extension. The extension's done. But I've been nursing an adductor strain for about 6 weeks. So I'm being sensible with this. I'm not trying to be a hero. I'm not even really trying to get back to that weight that I was at previously, as I do think I tweaked it a little bit. So what was it like? What's this? The whole stack and then 35 kilos on it. So I am just keeping it safe throughout prep and just giving it enough stimulus for them to stay, but not trying to push it to a point where I then injure myself again. I just can't afford to not be able to do steps, not be able to do cardio. And this is something that's important, you know, when we are prepping, when we are dieting, you've got to be sensible and you've got to be smart with the way in which we are training. You know, if you can't train, you can't progress your physique. So sometimes you've got to be smart. You've got to pull back on the load a little bit so that you can keep training and so that you can keep progressing the physique. Is it fun not progressing load? No. But if it allows me to keep my adductors and not be injured, then it's a much smarter approach than trying to be cool for Instagram or social media and then not being able to actually function and actually get in shape because I can't walk and I can't do cardio. We'll go stack. First set here we'll go probably a 12 to 20, somewhere in that range. I'm not really sure where. Next set, if it's like a 20, I'll go up. If it's like a 12, I'll stay the same. Probably get like 2 or 3 reps drop off just from being fatigued. But we'll see where this first set lands and then we'll go from there. Oh, fucking hell. Yeah. that was much heavier than I thought. Now, again, because I'm injured, I am trying to be a little bit sensible with the force that I create from that change of direction. So think about where most people tear muscles. It's in that stretch position. Think where people tear a pec, it's at the bottom of the bench press. Think where people tear a quad, it's at the bottom of a squat. Think about where people tear the adductor, it's at the bottom of a squat or in the stretch of the adductor. So just make sure that change of direction is controlled and I'm not being super explosive into the rep as I change direction. Just allows me to stay safe, and it actually allows me to stay super accurate with where the tension stays. But like when we're too explosive in, you kind of have to tense up and then things kind of just take over and contribute, which is not the goal. You know, the goal of an adductor is to train my adductor. It's not to train my obliques, it's not to train my abs, it's not to train my hip flexors, it is to train the adductor muscle. The one set, 6 plates, 300 kilos. It's going to keep it controlled, intentional and deep. The goal is just to keep the quads, just not to absolutely annihilate my CNS, which is probably why 8 weeks in and I still feel pretty good for the most part. Obviously I have a couple of tired days, but it's probably why for the most part I feel good, because I'm not taking those 50-50 reps. I'm not training like I used to when I had a massive ego. Still pretty big, but it's now less. So from a training perspective, it just allows for me to stay much more dialed in, switched on, and not create as much neural fatigue, which is super important for me because I can't be fatigued. I've got clients to serve. Let's get it out of the way. Definitely going to go one set on the pendulum. Definitely going to go one set on the pendulum now. Because I think knee hurts a little bit there. I think if I slow the pendulum up, I should be able to get a decent set of my quads in. Okay. Next, we've got pendulum, which again, just one set on here. I'm not doing any intensifiers at the moment either, because we're digging a little bit this week, so it doesn't make sense to add in more fatigue, more volume, more things that I can't recover from, and then actually see the training regress out the other side of that. And I think this is something that maybe doesn't get spoken about enough, or maybe enough people don't understand, but as we diet, there comes a point where at the start, as we bring down inflammation, as we bring down that GI weight, as we bring down just being heavier, you're going to see recovery actually increase for probably a 4 to 8 to 10 week period. And then as you get deeper into a diet, as you start to actually get lean, I would say kind of like sub 10%, we're going to run into a position for the most part where our recovery capabilities start to decrease. And at that point, that's where we need to adjust training volume to match the recovery capabilities that we do have. And that's where a lot of people go wrong. They feel like they start getting weaker, and they start adding sets to make up for the fact that they're getting weaker. And then as they keep dieting down, they keep adding more sets, and they keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and they don't know where they're going wrong. Simple fix, as recovery drops, drop a set of a movement, see how recovery and execution and performance then moves. If performance then holds, we know that's our maximal recoverable volume. If our performance progresses, then we know we're in a sweet spot. If performance continues to decline, then we know that we're still doing too much and we need to move some volume around. It might be from one session or it might be from the total across the week. For me, I always look at training for retention as we want to do the bare minimum that we need to keep the tissue. I'm probably not going to be building muscle at this point. I'm on less anabolics than I was peak off season. I'm 1,600 calories less. I'm 7 kilos lighter. I'm doing 4 hours of cardio a week. I think, yeah, 4 hours of cardio a week nearly. I'm not going to be able to recover the same as when I was doing no cardio, eating 1,600 calories more. You can see the energy flux there is, we're probably looking at 200 calorie energy flux per day. So I'm not going to be able to recover the same amount. This means I don't need to do the same amount. I'm also not running the same amount of anabolics. I'm running less now than I was peak off season. So recovery in terms of the full bucket is going to be less. So if you're doing the same, be smart. Don't add more. Do what you need to keep the tissue, but also at the same time, don't let dieting allow you to be a little bitch. My leg volume is low because my legs are strong. My upper volume is still relatively high because I need to make sure that I can keep my upper. My legs, I could train them once a week with one set and they would still stay. To be honest, I could probably not even train them. I could just do cardio and they would still stay. Upper, I don't have that luxury. So I move recoverable volume away from legs and put it towards my upper, my chest, my delts, my arms, my back. Those areas are not quite as strong. Well, not my delts, but the other areas. So one set here. Come up a little bit. And again here, trying to make sure I keep full foot pressure. If I lose foot pressure, lose stability of my knee, now my knee nearly snaps. It's probably a little too heavy. Now come on, Carl. Alright, there's that. Done. 2 sets of hamstrings left. And then we've got 35 stairs to do. 2 sets here to finish. Don't really need to warm up set because already warm. And I've been doing this movement for years, so I know what my setup is. To just get cracking straight in. One more, and I'll catch up with you guys in the car. Okay, now that is leg day done. So, legs done, 35 minutes of cardio done, and we're now on the way home. Now, a little bit of a different to usual Wednesday, to be honest, as I do normally have quite a busy day at PT, but sometimes it's a blessing and it's a nicety to not have to do loads of PT and then train later in the day, because it gives me another, essentially I normally would get home at about 1:30, 2 o'clock, and today I'm going to get home at 9:30, so that's 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30. 4 hours of extra work that I get to do. So, yeah, blessed, grateful, as I've got a few things going on in the background that we are doing, or launching, or running. So, for me, it's now just a case of go home, sit at the laptop for the rest of the day. It's really what it's going to be. So, yeah, time to get home. The session as a whole was good, as you'll have seen. I do feel a little bit flat, which is okay. It's to be expected. You know, you have to be flat. You have to go for a period of time where you are flat if you don't want to be fat. You know, if we don't deplete muscle glycogen, you're not going to mobilize body fat to be able to be used as energy. So you do have to go through a degree or a period of time of being flat so that we can get some body fat off. So I'm okay with feeling how we'd feel. Of course, sessions aren't going to feel amazing. Of course, pumps aren't going to be crazy. But it will lead to new condition coming through and new condition pulling through, which is the goal. The goal is to be in elite level peeled condition. So that is what the goal is. But I will say this. I'm very, very confident that the condition I'm in now, if I really pushed it, I think I could be stage condition in 5 to 6 weeks. So the fact that we've got 10, just under 10, fills me with a lot of confidence in what I'm going to be able to bring. So that's reassuring, and I think it's one thing that a lot of people struggle with, of am I going to be lean enough? Am I going to be in condition? And the fact that I'm not going to have that as a worry. And we've also got relatively far ahead. So that's a big, big, big positive. Obviously, I've never ever fully got my glutes in. So that is an area where we're going to have to dig. We're going to have to battle through. It's going to be hard. But it is going to allow for me to learn new things about myself, right? And I think when we do get to that new level of condition, not only am I going to see what the human body is truly capable of and actually feel it for myself, but I'm also going to grow from a mindset perspective and realize that I can push hard in everything. You know, last time I competed, I let business slip, and I said to Jace this time around, if I'm going to prep, the one thing that cannot slip is business. So I have to remain present in execution of everything that I am doing to make sure that I don't let that drop, and to make sure that we don't see that regress. Because if it regresses for me, I've competed for no fucking reason. You know, competing for me is just a process of having a goal. It's not about getting on stage. It's not about winning a medal. Obviously, you don't compete not to win, but whether I compete or whether I don't compete, I would still do this. I would still push my body to an extreme. I would still push myself to the limits of what am I truly capable of. Because for me, it's about the findings and the learnings in the process, as opposed to the end process. And that's where a lot of people go wrong in this, is they're so fixated on the final look, final scale weight, whatever it is, that they actually forget that the part of the reason that we're doing this and we're enduring the pain is to be present in that process, to be present in that moment of learning about ourselves and understanding what we're truly capable of, so that we can lead by example in other areas of our life. So yeah, whether I did compete, don't compete this year, I would still get absolutely peeled, because I like to do things that challenge me. I like to do things that challenge me, and I think if you don't do things that challenge you, I think it's a very, very, very sad, complacent life that you're probably going to regret in a few years' time, because you don't know what you're possible of. You don't know what's possible. You don't know what you're capable of because you've not pushed the boundaries. So, yeah, we're now home eat, which I'll show you the meal. I'm actually going to move my meals about a little bit today. I normally do cream of rice as my last meal, but I don't have any chicken and my food shop isn't getting delivered till 1 o'clock today. So I'm going to do cream of rice for my post-workout. And then, fucking hell, something will crash into me. And then I'm going to do my chicken as a later meal. So yeah, just moving things about a little bit because why the fuck not? And I'll take you through what the rest of the day does look like. Obviously, it's going to be just snippets because I do literally just sit at my desk, and I will just sit at my desk for the rest of the day, really. Other than to walk post meals, it will pretty much just be sit at your desk and work. It's nothing fancy. This is unfortunately the reality of it. Unfortunately for you. I mean, I love my life, so not unfortunate for me. But this is a reality of what life does actually look like. Ah, you motherfucker. Mate. Yeah. So, it is just going to be a case of sit down, work, do the shit that people do, that is reality. And then enjoy a relaxing evening. Right, we're in with the post-workout. You know the drill. You know the drill. Mate, if you don't have one of these, what are you doing, man? Legit, what are you doing? If you don't have one of these, imagine, just train legs. Now I get to eat ice cream. God damn. Legit. If you can't get lean nowadays, I just don't get it. It's so easy. Well, it's not easy, but it's so easy. We have so much variety at our disposal. You've got cream of rice, which is flavoured. You've got whey protein, which is flavoured. You've got, you know, sweeteners, seasonings, shit that they didn't have, or we didn't have to this level 10, 15 years ago. We're getting in shape. It's categorically is so easy. It really is. It really is. Now, I'm going to absolutely enjoy this. How I do this. I've got 35 left. We've got 150 berries, 70 grams of cream of rice, and 20 grams, oh God. And then I've got 20 grams of honey. Mate, what is going on? Follow me. Follow me. And then I've got 20 grams of honey to go on top. I do actually have 15 grams of dark chocolate in this meal in terms of when I have the cream of rice. Now post-workout, because I'm on prep, and because I'm relatively hungry anyway, I am actually going to put the 15 grams of dark chocolate in here as well. Normally if I was off season, obviously wouldn't put the dark chocolate in because I want to assimilate the food quickly. I want to be hungry in the next couple of hours so I can eat again. But because I'm always hungry, I'm actually going to just use the fats of the dark chocolate in this meal. And then I will not worry about putting the dark chocolate in what would be my usual post-workout, which I'll have later on today. Which will just be chicken and rice with some veg. So, yeah, what a fucking delicious post-workout. Chocolate, honey, dessert, and then ice cream as well. Like, I'm going to actually put 5 grams on that as well. It is so easy. So easy to get in shape. There's really no excuse. If we can't get in shape, it's because our structure and our systems have failed and flawed. Not because you don't have the ability to. I'm going to enjoy this, and then I'm going to get crack-a-lacking with some work, because that's what we do. Just work.